Yesterday, I spent the larger part of the day just watching the grilling of David Chirchir. That is the current transport CS. And if it is true that what David Chirchir represented at this Senate committee are the papers that they're having, the private initiative or whatever proposal, the PIPC, the PPP, is supposed to be the contract that KA is supposed to sign with Adani, then I think we don't need to be in this country. And if what Senator Onyonka was saying, that the person who runs Nairobi Hospital is the person who is going to run the shift, and that shift is still part of the Adani company, that the person who supplied the G2G bado alikuwa Adani. But sometimes you fail to understand how government operates. How do you outsource a single company to come run your things? A single company. And before outsourcing, you haven't done even due diligence. What comes before the other? Is it doing the due diligence is when you outsource? Because they outsourced the single, they avoided the bidding part. There were constant of time. Then, if you look at this thing, at this Adani whole thing, it's quite making sense. Because you remember there's a time there was some rumor that there's a very prominent person who was arrested at the airport of Dubai with a lot of cash, and people were saying that it might be Murkomen. Those are the days that this deal was striked. Hii kitu hata si ya saizi. This thing ya kitambo sana, because ilifunikwa sana, then it just got over the air. And who was the CS transport by then? CS Murkomen. Who was the CS energy by then? Chirchir. How did Ruto swap them? Kuna mtu anataka kurudisha pesa zake huku ndani. There is somebody who's just having his money outside there and has decided that it's now time to return my money home. I'm gonna launder it back home. Those are the people pushing the agenda of the Adani. But even if we don't accept Adani in, we already have Adani in. So hii hakuna kutoroka. Hii hema tujingoe si wenyewe. That's my take.
But Ethiopia Airlines are running Bole Airport. Before, let's every member execute their point. You cannot inject on every syllable. Let them finish their statement.
So what happened was that when Kenya Airways made a proposal to take over JKI to run, even the capital expenditure was even not clear what they were going to do. The interest was not the fact that they wanted to invest in it, but the interest was on some other things. Having gone through the entire process, memoranda were submitted, it was decided that it was not the wisest move to do.
Thank you, Chair. So,
just on a point of order, allow me on that particular point, because Senator Onyonka has asked a very, very important question and has submitted findings of this parliament. The airport is governed under the Kenya Airports Act, which was established in 1991. And if you read that act clearly, it talks about the objective of that act, and it talks about the roles of the KAA. The PS, when asked the question whether Adani is going to be taking over the entire operation, said yes, or he answered to the affirmative. Now, does it mean that we are now going to use a PPP to amend an act of parliament by giving away? And it is very, very clear. It actually says to operate, KA is a state-owned enterprise established in 1991 under the Kenya Airports Authority Act, Chapter 395 of the laws of Kenya. And the role is to manage, operate civil airports, airstrip across Kenya. So are you telling me you're now, first of all, going to amend that act so that you exclude JKIA so that you can be able to send it out, to run it differently?
Honorable Chair, there are various ways of running our business. There are businesses we can run directly.
The thing that I've tried to highlight out, but just to leave it up because of time, I would have expected you, before you began addressing this Honorable Committee of the Senate, to first of all justify why it is you, a Minister for Transport, who is answering matters on PPP. The letter was addressed to Mr. Mudavadi. At that time, he was covering the entire cabinet. Who was the minister responsible who should be answering these questions? Is it you or the Minister for Finance? You are a stranger in these proceedings. The minister to answer these questions is the Minister for Finance, not you. You are not recognized in law. And so, secondly, I would have expected the answers to begin by showing that there was this due diligence carried out and the Adani was cleared before the government went further to begin looking at them. Secondly, there's a requirement in the law that you must prove that competitive bidding could not give as a bidder. It must be that Adani is bringing something so unique to them that you must go the PPP way. If competitive bidding can realize the same result, you are supposed to do competitive bidding. Where is the proof that only Adani has the technology or the whatever to expand an airway?
As regarding the due diligence that ought to have been done before commencing the exercise, my written response does say an initial due diligence was done, Chair, so it was done. It is not true that it was not done. If you go to my first page of my document, I did say in paragraph number 3, starting with currently we are processing through the stages outlined in the PPP framework. We are in the detailed due diligence phase while also negotiating the proposal submitted by Adani. An initial desktop due diligence was done by KAA and the PPP Directorate before commencing the evaluation. So it was done. As regarding the procurement process, I'm not a lawyer, Chairman, like Omutata. I thought he was, sorry. But I've just been referred very quickly to Section 4.2 of the PPP Act, which does say the provision of the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act shall not apply to a public-private partnership. So I don't know whether we are reading the same law, the same act. And if you go quickly to section, which other section was this we wanted to refer to? Section 40, which basically talks to a contracting authority may consider a privately initiated proposal submitted under subsection 1, which